Because I want to be great.
And you're not.
I want to be one of the greats.
And it's going to take all of you. It's going to take every ounce of your being, everything you got. And if you give it any less than everything you totally got, you're not totally spent, you're not doing enough.
To get anything of value, you have to sacrifice. Do you know that the harder thing to do and the right thing to do are usually the same thing? Nothing that has meaning is easy. Easy doesn't enter into grown-up life.
To do anything successfully in life, you've got to want it as bad as you want to breathe. And if you want it that bad, if you're willing to give it that much, you get a big piece of what you want. And life and dreams do come true. Anything you want can happen and become a reality. And I say that not from something I read, that's from something I lived.
How bad do you want this? You know how to do it. You know exactly how to be you or how to be me. You don't want to do it. There's no luck in this game, man. It may be a little bit of luck, but the luck happens after you bust your ass and you put yourself in that lucky situation. Luck doesn't happen. You put yourself in that situation where luck might fucking happen. And that's what people don't know. But to get there, luck ain't gonna happen. You have to put yourself in that situation, man. It takes a lot of work.
This body, as great as you are, as sharp as you make the arsenal, it can't do anything if you don't have confidence in yourself. We all fall down in life. The question is, who gets back up? You go after and you give it all you have. If you lose, at least you tried, man. I failed. It's 10 times more of a man than someone said, what if? Because what if never went to the arena. When you guys find a fear, that fear will either create you or destroy you. I love fear, and the reason why, behind every fear is a person you want to be.
What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to forgo? It's hard for people to understand how I lost 106 pounds in less than 3 months. I sat down at the table and I said to myself, what are you willing to give up? Everything.
I know you're gonna have to do almost everything alone up here, but you know I'll be with you. And you're gonna have to go through hell. Worse than any nightmare that you ever dreamed. But in the end, I know you'll be the one standing. You know what you gotta do. Do it.
Bro, whatever amount of effort you could put in today, give 100% of it. So if you could only give 10% today, then don't give 9. Give it your full 10%. Because people who put in their best effort in life will get in return all the things that they wish for.
Promise me that for the next 6 months, you'll give it your all. No averageness, no laziness, no excuses, just pure effort. Because truth be told, that's all that you're missing. It's just effort. If you just hone in, block out the noise, get off the ground, get off your phone, tell your weaknesses no, and tell your strengths yes, I promise you by the end of the year, you'll be in a totally different situation. But I can't want it more than you. You gotta make that choice.
I'd rather go too far than not far enough. The only reward that you get from taking it easy is the fact that in the moment, it's easier. If you want results, and then you basically just catch yourself slacking off and don't do anything about it, then it kind of sounds like you don't really want those results, you know?
I know what darkness looks like. I know what it feels like to be alone with no motivation, no drive, no passion. For the first 20-some years of my life, it was just darkness. But if you are able to get up every morning, have no passion, no drive, no motivation, no shit, and still get up with that kind of fire, you will be successful in life. I guarantee you that.
When you give everything you got to something, I'm talking about blood, sweat, and tears, everything you got to something, the peace in that is not the result or the reward. The peace is the fact that I gave everything I had to it because this is who I am. So now, even if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to, I didn't go to the NFL. That was a dream I had since I was 7. It didn't happen, but it was a certain level of peace that resided inside of me because I knew September 9, 2006, my last tackle, I can honestly say with every fiber of my being, I gave everything I had to.
Let me be very clear. I'll never give up. Never.
The point is that there's some games you don't get to play unless you're all in. And the other thing that's so interesting about being alive is that you're all in. No matter what you do, you're all in. So I think you might as well play the most magnificent game you can while you're waiting. Because do you have anything better to do? Really? Why not pick the best thing possible that you could do?
If you're gonna do it, do it. Say what you can do what you say. If you can't do it, don't say you can do it. Don't over leverage yourself. Don't over leverage a decision and then jump in and kind of dip a toe. I think I'll try it out. No, think if you're gonna try it out beforehand, but when it's time to go, dive. Finish it, find out, come out the other side. Don't leave it and go, ooh, if I just would have, That keeps me up at night. I think it keeps a lot of us up at night. When you half-ass something and you just don't know whether you failed or succeeded, got what you want or didn't get what you want. Finding out and looking in the mirror and going, I didn't half-ass it, I went all the way, I found out, and that ain't for me. Or I found out and you damn right that is for me. That's a great place to get to.
This whole thing, we look at life like it's about what you can get from life. And I think, I read something, I was like, that's not what it is. You're gonna always be unfulfilled if you look at life like that. It's about knowing you're gonna leave one day. And when you leave, the only way you're gonna be fulfilled is if you know you gave everything you had.
Well, you should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful. But you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. You're paying a price by sitting there being miserable. You might say, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. It's like, don't be so sure of that. The clock is ticking. Yeah, and if you're miserable in your job now and you change nothing, in 5 years, you'll be much more miserable and you'll be a lot older.
You want to be the one that says, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. I know I don't feel good today, but I'm going to go out there and I'm going to prove to myself that even on days that it doesn't feel right, I push myself. The only way to gain confidence in yourself is to build something. It's not to wait for it to happen. The fish just don't jump in the boat. Meaning you better go out there and do it yourself. Don't fucking wait around and wait for someone to hand deliver something. Go make it happen.
Most people who've won big have failed big. And what I promised myself as a little boy, I said I can never leave the gym knowing I have 5% left. That 5% is magic. It's the magic place where very few people go. You can go there. I'm giving you permission to go there. We'll have people behind you. If you fall down and drop the weight on the floor, who cares? Who cares? But if you make it, I care. I want that. I want you to fail, and I want you to get up and do it again. The same thing in life is the same thing here. If you can do this, you can do anything. Anything.
I want to be like all in. Do you know what I mean? So if it doesn't work for whatever reason, and I think it's going to work, obviously, but at least I can look back and be like, you tried your best. And that's all that anybody can ever ask, is that you tried your best. And that I was both feet in. I did everything right, from nutrition to the mental side of things, to training twice a day, to the routine, to the sleep, to the physiotherapy, to everything. I want to tick every single box so that in 5 years or 10 years, I can look back and go, look, you tried your best. Yeah. And that's all I can do.
If tomorrow never comes, how far would you go today? If tomorrow was not a guarantee, how far would you push? If you thought that today was your last opportunity to ever do the thing, how far would you go?
And you will not succeed in business or any endeavor in life until that fight you just went through is applied to the same endeavor. It's too fucking hard of a world out there. If you're trying to lose weight for the girls on the beach, like you just said, it's never going to be successful. Think of that, guys. When you guys are saying you're doing everything right and you're giving it your all, come on. Come on. Your all's a lot more than you know. You got more inside of you to give. Stop selling yourself so short.
When you said, I'm all in, were you really all in? Let me tell you what the cost of being all in is. Early mornings, late nights, being misunderstood, having very few friends, being your own cheerleader. Are you those things? People always talk about, man, I'm a hard worker. Everybody in this room is a hard worker. That's not going to separate you from anybody else. What are you working hard on? People always look for one thing for the other. Oh, you got to work, you got to work smarter and not harder. No, you got to work smarter and you got to work harder.
Go do something that's hard. Go try and accomplish something that's hard. You may win, you may lose, you may succeed, you may fail. I'll tell you what, you'll be better.
Reminder that if you want to be exceptional, you're going to be different from everyone else. That's what makes you exceptional. You can't fit in and also be exceptional. Both have discomfort. When you fit in, you have internal conflict because you're not being 100% you. When you're exceptional, you have external conflict because everyone sees you as different. Pick one. When your friends start to say, "You've changed," remember it's because they don't know how to say, "You've grown."
Imagine spending 10 years of your life only thinking about one thing every waking hour of the day. We agreed not to drink, we didn't do drugs, like we didn't date, we didn't do anything. We just literally obsessed from the time we woke up to the time we went to bed. That's literally all we did.
Take the path of maximal responsibility. Not because you should, even though you should. That's not why. It's because that's the pathway of maximal adventure. So you say, well, what's the meaning of life? It's like, it's the meaning that reveals itself when you take the pathway of maximal responsibility.
Most people say, nah, man, I'm working all the time, traveling, man. That's my excuse, man. Couldn't get to the gym, you know, I got a good excuse. Sure, you got an excuse. But if you want it bad enough, you find a way. If you don't want it bad enough, you find an excuse.
Confidence and fear both require believing in something that hasn't happened yet. At a certain point, you have to consider that you're choosing to be afraid.
Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. So the question is, who should you defeat in the final analysis? And the answer is, you should defeat your former self. You should be constantly trying to do that. And you're the right control for yourself too, because you're the one who's had all your advantages and disadvantages. And so if you want to compete fairly with someone, then you should be competing with you.
I think the best way to prove your value is to work, is to learn, is to absorb. But you always want to outwork your potential. You know, as hard as you believe you can work harder than that.
Well, it's something I tell myself daily, so I make sure I do at least one thing every day that sucks. It could be for an hour, it could be for 2 hours, sometimes it's for 10 hours. But every day I do something to strengthen the mind. We're all looking for this great mythical mental toughness. Mental toughness doesn't come from sitting on the couch. It doesn't come from wishing it will come true. It comes from putting in the work. And you have to start developing your mindset. Mindset is not developed by wishing. Mindset is developed by doing and actually putting into practice.
What's more important, what we acquire or who we become? Materialistic, superficial, it's cool. But the people that we become, the thoughts we think, the words we speak, that's something that's gonna travel with us forever. You can lose a car, get another one tomorrow. But the people that we become as a result of the processes that we lock into every single day for the things that we aspire to get or the people that we aspire to become, that takes real work, and we gotta be willing to do that.
The margins, guys, in life, that dictates a champion, someone that's remembered and not forgotten. The legacies of life, the role models, the one that stands those tests of time I always talk about. Don't know terms like good enough. It's too fucking hard. And they failed over and over and over again so many times that they've learned what it takes to succeed.
Your mind's gonna always guide you in a spot that wants to make you feel comfortable and nice and secure. And it's in those spots that there's no growth. Without friction, there's no growth. So that's why I constantly preach about you have to get outside that comfort zone to find that every day of your life.
And you're in the gym right now to ensure that that event goes your way. And it will never go your way, guys, if you're saying today is good enough. If you never say good enough today, I promise you tomorrow will always be enough. Whenever good enough isn't enough, you can bet tomorrow you'll have enough.
I had to stop thinking normal. I can no longer be a common man walking around doing common things. But no one taught me this stuff. It was on me. And that's what you have to realize. Everything you do, you may have some support, you may not, but it's on you. You have to make the decision whether you want to be a badass or whether you just want to be mediocre and everything's okay. But being a badass hurts.
If you want to be really great at something, you kind of have to be out of your fucking mind, but you also have to have an iron will.
Yeah.
You don't want to work out every day.
Yeah.
There's going to be days you just want to eat cake and sleep.
Yeah.
But if you want to get past the guy who eats cake and sleeps, you don't eat cake and you don't sleep.
Yeah.
Pressure changes everything, pressure. Some people, you squeeze them, they focus. Others fold.
So embracing the suck, it really is something that you have to tell yourself, because we don't want to embrace the suck. You know, not even me. I don't want to embrace the suck, but it comes down to a lot, man. Like, I'm all about trying to be the best leader I can. You know, so through all these things in life, man, to be your best person, you have to find your best self. And to do that, you can't stay in the comfortable world. You have to be very, not always uncomfortable, but you know, you gotta find a spot that's not so comfortable.
When you give it all here, guys, and you leave it all here, you're at your weakest state, bottom of the barrel. What's about to happen? Your greatest triumph. You kill yourself on pride in here, leaving nothing to spare. What's gonna come? The growth of opportunity. There's gonna be sun out here real soon, I guarantee it. Let's go.
Like when I didn't make it to the NFL, I looked at the process and said, okay, I gotta hang up the cleats, but let me extract that mindset. Let me extract that work ethic. Let me extract that dedication and commitment. So now that I can extract that, I can apply it to anything that I want to do in my life and get a chance at success. But most importantly, man, you gotta look at things and say, like at a certain point, like eliminate the outcome. Stop being driven by rewards. Stop being driven by outcome. Stop being driven by, if I get this, I'm gonna do this. Just work.
You only start really liking stuff when you get good at it, in my opinion. And you only get good at it by doing it a lot of times before you're good at it. This is why I'm a big believer in this, is that when you are starting out, I think you gotta find the thing that's the pain. And like, pain motivates significantly faster and stronger than pleasure does. I think people should use their pain more.
Go get yourself strong. Go put your own oxygen mask on. Put some money in the bank. Crush your company. Be selfish with your time. Be selfish with your income. Be greedy on the amount of money you want to make. I'm telling you, be greedy, be selfish. You know why? Because if you go all in, if you stop thinking, I wish I could do more, be more, go all in and make the money. Get secure and put your oxygen mask on, and what you can do in 5 years from now, what you can do in 7 years from now, what you could do in 12 years from now is unbelievable.
The intake and the outtake of what you call life is nothing more than time. And unless done something with, it's forgotten about. There's no footprint of your existence left for anyone else to follow. Life is time. And a life that's remembered, where a footprint is followed behind in footsteps of inspiration and motivation, is when time is met with opportunity and action. They collide to be a life of remembrance. The problem is, most people don't have a plan. And without a plan of your own life, you become the plan of someone else's life.
It takes time, it takes effort, it takes work, it takes overcoming your fear, it takes being brave, it takes being courageous. And at the end of the day, I've had an ulcer before as a kid, I've stressed, I've gone broke, I've been ridiculed, I felt bad about myself, I felt insecure, and at the end of the day, I would do it 1,000,000 times over.
I learned to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
If he could do it, he believed in himself. And you can too.
This is my life, man. Do you know how hard I worked to get here?
If you give up on your dreams, what do you have left? Nothing.
So all I thought about when I was growing up is, man, I can't wait to one day get to the point where I no longer have to do this stuff. But what happened as I got older, it became a way of living. So how I do every day is how I do every day. It's a discipline, it's a regimen, it was a choice I made. And the choice I made was, what are you willing to sacrifice and what are you willing to give up to find every bit of who you are as a human being?
It's only will that just gets you up off the couch if your knees are destroyed and you run a tidy 30 miles that day. That's not determinism. That's bullshit. If it was determinism, there'd be tons of those guys out there.
That no one saw. There wasn't no fucking social media. There wasn't no watch David Goggins lose 106 pounds in 2.5 months. There wasn't no, diet plan and shit. No, there was nothing. But I knew it. I saw it. Every morning I woke up, I had a real conversation with that dirty mirror. And every day, the same answer came back to me. Do you want to be on your deathbed knowing that you could, but you didn't?
The energy it requires to start doing something is way more than the energy required to continue doing the thing. And that the beginning of doing anything results in the lowest amount of reward, both internal and external, than when you've been doing it for ages?
I mean, if you're going to be successful and you're going to have a chance to be successful, you have to do some of the same things. It all starts with who you are, because who you are is your character. And your character is an accumulation of your thoughts, your habits, and your priorities on a day-to-day basis, because those three things determine the choices you make, and the choices you make you who you are. Good guy, bad guy, hardworking, lazy, responsible, irresponsible.
If you make a bad decision and just hang it up in that 1 second, you will fucking regret it. You must win every second. You must be in control of your life every second of your life, or you will lose. So that's the biggest thing. Never forget your goals. Many dreams die while suffering. Don't be one of those people whose dreams die while you're suffering. Learn to manage your mind.
And it takes a certain amount of discipline to do what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, the way it's supposed to get done. If we were talking about business, it would be all about doing the right thing, the right way, at the right time.
In my old job in the Navy, we had to move through a lot of tough things. Whether it was going up a steep hill with 100 pounds on your back, or going through a swamp. Sometimes you're barely making any progress at all. And that tough situation is making you want to stop. And what you eventually learn is you can't stop.
Being a leader fucking sucks. You do everything in life that you do not want to do. You are unhappy 90% of your life. But that means that other people are eating because of you. They're living because of you. They're achieving because of you. So are you really in that bad a shape? So make a decision tonight. Do you want to be a leader? Or do you want to be that person who just bags it and does their own shit?
No more gray decisions in your life. It either serves the man or the woman you want to become, the business you want, the father you want to be, the wife you want to be, the mom you want to be, the leader you want to be, the business you want to have. Your actions either serve and take you towards that version of yourself, or those actions take you away from that.
They're looking for a shortcut to be successful, and there aren't any. But if you do something repeatedly over and over, you develop a habit. So most people are in the habit of looking for easy ways to get the things they want. And they're surrounded by people who think the same way. You know, as much as 95% of your thinking is determined by the people that you associate with.
It's okay to give up. And that is the instinct you need to fight. You need to push back, to smash into the ground, to not take the easy way out.
Will you keep going? In the face of whatever.
What I've learned is to always keep going. Always. I've come to find out is that, no matter what happens, the storm eventually ends. And when the storm does end, you want to make sure that you're ready. And so I've really learned to put one foot in front of the other, good, bad, or indifferent, because eventually that storm passes.
It's like you had to go through that in order to empower all these other people, in order to become who you are, and that as an example of your own shortcomings and failures that give people confidence that it's not like you're this superhuman person that is like a character in a book.
Right.
No, you're a real human being who has real insecurities and real failures in your past and real demons. And you figured out a way to harness that energy and just keep going forward.
Yep.
And not quit.
That brings joy to my life right there.
Why?
Because I know there's so many people that have the ability and just refuse to get off that couch. Refuse to study a few more hours. Refuse to go deeper, to go further. And that's where I gain the advantage.
Focus on what you can control. Focus on what you're getting, not what anyone else is getting. Whenever you get an opportunity, you take advantage of it. You treat it like it's the Super Bowl. You treat it like it's game day. Go out there and treat practice like no one else does. All you do is you focus on the starter, the second guy. You don't worry about what you're focused on. You came here to be the best. I want you at this program. And if you're going to be the best, you got to beat out the best.
All this hand-wringing worry and concern over how are people viewing me, someone said something bad about me and you get so upset about it, is wasted time and energy. Marcus Aurelius says your only focus should be on getting better at what you're doing. Focus on what you're doing, get better at what you're doing. Everything else is a complete waste of time.
The greatest achievement of somebody comes right after their worst defeat. When they've hit rock bottom, hit the bottom of the barrel, they got nothing left. Everyone's given up on them. They've lost all their worldly possessions. They're dead broke on their back. It's at that point, guys, when everything's lost, that everything can be gained.
Everybody has a turn back moment. You have a moment where you could go forward or you can give up. But the thing you have to keep in mind before you give up is that if you give up, the guarantee is it will never happen. That's the guarantee of quitting, that it will never happen, no way under the sun. The only way the possibility remains that it can happen is if you never give up, no matter what.
Is thinking this will be the story that I will one day tell. And that means the harder it is, the bigger the dragon, the more epic the story, and by consequence, the more epic the hero.
This workout's gonna test you guys. It's gonna break you too. But in doing so, it's gonna grow you. Just like life itself, man. You go at things, you try them. Even if you fail, you get back up and you continue to try and fail, continue to try and fail. And ensuring you never fail to try. Because nothing's impossible. Just a spelling of impossible. It's but possible. Today we make belief of that.
If you think about the difference between winners and losers, winners define themselves by what they made happen, and losers define themselves by what happened to them.
Continuing to have the belief in myself and not letting that veer off since I was young, since I've been told from my teachers that I would never amount to nothing. The bullying or the things that you face, the adversity you face, the discrimination, and just continuing to keep your head up, continuing to march on ahead towards your dream.
If you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret. And that bill from regret is generational. And there's a lot of people listening to this that bill has been passed on from generation to generation, and you are holding that bill right now. And somebody in one of your generations has to pay that bill off in order for the generation to move on.
For me, just coming from where I come from, bro, and like just understanding that, man, I'm built different, period. I'm just built different, man. And I've always had an eye, a discipline and a work ethic that I've had at a young age that I just apply it to everything that I want to do. So I would say that rarely go out reading, you know what I'm saying, trying to reverse engineer how to be successful. Like, how do I, start my own production company? How do I do this? How do I do that? And I always felt like if other cats was out partying and I was home studying, I would have the edge.
Keeping your goal and your eyes set on that and not being distracted, not giving up. I think the easiest thing in life is to give up on whatever you're focused on or whatever you're hopeful for. The hardest thing is to keep going, but we have to. We have to continue to hold on. And I would imagine for so many people out there, that is probably the most difficult thing.
Maybe I'm doing too much.
Sounds like me.
Maybe I need to back off, Man, my lungs are burning. Maybe I can just slow down here. I'll do like an extra 2 sets tomorrow. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Right? That sort of stuff.
Yes.
Like that stuff's dangerous.
Yes.
And that's when you just got to say, you know what? I'm not negotiating with myself.
Yeah.
The deal was already made. Deal was made when I set out at the beginning of the summer and said, this is the training plan I'm doing. I signed that contract with myself. I'm doing it.
Basically, 2 kinds of people in life. They're winners and they're losers. And the definition is this. Losers take things that happen to them and that they feel inside that suck, and they wallow, and they use it for self or outward destruction. Winners take whatever they feel it sucks, and they transmute it into things that are good for themselves and for the world.
the biggest advice that anybody could give you, and this is not my words, Woody Allen told me this. He said, I said, Woody, what's the secret to success? He said, 85 to 90% of life is just showing up. Show up. If you show up, there's a chance something could happen.
If nothing changes, nothing changes. And yet, somehow we expect things to change. We expect things to change. You think you're going to get in better shape. You think the world is going to get better without you doing anything. But it isn't. Nothing is going to change unless you change what you're doing. Change the junk food that you're eating. Change what you do when you get out of bed. Change what you do with your time. That's what you need to do.